Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the world's #1 electric shaver, the Remington. Now, let's all play What's My Line? Now, let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular Broadway columnist, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
On my left this evening, the charming author, lecturer, publisher, and charmer, Fred Allen.
And on my left, ladies and gentlemen, a young lady who told me that one day this week she saw a great commotion outside of the YWCA and investigated and found out that there were two old maids who had just made a snowman and were trying to take the snowman into the YW. Miss Arlene Francis.
Is that what I told you, Fred?
As far as I know.
And on my left, one of the most endearing men of television, in fact, one of the most endearing men, Sam Levinson.
Thank you. And on my left, a man who can complicate the simplest answers, Mr. John Daly.
I'd like to begin with a small bulletin in the matter of the worm. Whoa! Actually, I doubt that this is scientifically correct, but I think it's so charming you ought to have a chance to enjoy it, too. One of our technicians came in with this. He says, in Ray, your definition of a worm, here's one in the Weekly Reader, elementary school, which you might enjoy. A worm is a caterpillar which took off its fur coat. That end the worm matter, shall we? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Once again tonight, we have our cameras all ready to go and some people all ready to go in front of the cameras and some interesting occupations and a fine panel, so we might as well get down to business. We'll have a famous guest challenger a bit later on, but right now it's time for the experts to meet our first challenger, whose line they must spot. Will you sign in, please, ma'am? And my friend said, do you like your work? And I said, I love it. Patricia Finch, is that right? And now we'll either dash the hopes of millions or bring them very much alive. Is it Miss or Mrs. Finch?
It is Miss.
It's Miss Finch.
Yes.
Now, actually, Pat has another identification, if I may call you Pat. This is actually our 5th anniversary. I don't know, panel, whether that has borne in upon you. On February 2nd, 1950, we started What's My Line, and the first challenger on our first program 5 years ago was Pat Finch.
Oh, no.
Isn't that wonderful? At that time, to give the panel the benefit of some historical record, Miss Finch was a hat-check girl at the Stork Club. She has, in the intervening years, changed her occupation. The panel will have to try to find out what has been changed, too. Now, I think the panel's had a good chance to look at you, so we'll skip that walk down there, because I don't think I want to let you get that far away from me, gentlemen. Won't you sit down here, please, Miss Finch? All right, panel, we will now conform with our usual practices and get to that one wild guess that you're allowed, and we'll begin the wild guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think she's now splitting atoms.
Splitting atoms. Mr. Allen.
I think she's checking the turbines at the UN hatchery.
Miss Francis.
Well, I think she's obviously gone from the Stork Club to the stock market.
I wish that were
Mr.
true.
Levinson.
I think she now owns the Stork Club.
No, not quite. We'll let our viewers have the further look at Miss Pat Finch, and at the same time, we'll tell them what her line is now, but the panel's going to have to dig for it. All right. Miss Pat, do you remember how we score this operation? We flip cards when you say no.
Yes,
That is,
I
if
do
you
remember that.
properly say no. All right, then you're all set. We will announce that Miss Finch is salaried and begin the general questioning with Fred Allen.
Well, I know that hat check girl is quite a lucrative occupation, or profession, rather. Have you improved your financial status since you've left the Stork Club?
Yes, I have.
You have left the Stork Club, too.
Yes.
John said that you're still single,
Yes, I am.
and you've improved your financial condition,
Yes.
and you're also employed, I assume.
Yes, I am.
With your new financial position, have you met Mr. Ruberosa up to now?
Well, no, I haven't.
You haven't. You haven't moved in that set. Huh?
You just got a no answer with that one.
I
Remember
get
that? I'm sorry, Fred. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
But do you work for a profit-making organization?
Oh, yes, I do.
Does the fact that you're so attractive, is it of some help to you in your position?
Well, that's very kind of you. I think it is, yes.
Would you have anything at all to do with the entertainment world?
Yes.
Would you be considered a performer?
Yes.
Are you something other than just an actress?
Yes, I am.
Do you perform either in a dancing or singing way?
Yes, I do.
Is it singing?
Yes.
Now then, back to the Hat Check Club at the Stork. You sing in a show?
Yes, I do.
That's true.
A show that is now appearing on Broadway?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a musical comedy of this year's presentation?
Oh, yes.
Well. Are you in a musical that is being produced by the husband of one of the members of the channel, and since both of these are men, it must only be Dorothy's husband, Dick
No.
Colmar.
Wouldn't
No.
Darlene think of that? That'll make it 2 down and 8 to go. Bad track.
Thank
All
you
right.
for giving me the other no.
Mr. Levinson.
I guess it's only a matter now of finding the name of the show, isn't that what
Well,
we're
and
after?
actually, the occupation has partially been determined.
I don't usually do this, but I have a strange thought running through my mind. You're in the entertainment business. Are you on stage alone? Do you perform alone at any time?
No, I don't.
Oh.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
But you do sing? Yes, I do. In something that has arrived on Broadway this year? Yes. Well, that eliminates Pajama Game and Kismet. You're not in either one of those. No, I'm not.
Yes, Miss Finch is not.
May we have a conference? I suddenly can't think of anything but
House
Plain
of
and Fancy.
Flowers?
No, I don't think she'd be in House of Flowers, but she might be.
I can't think of what's
Plain and Fancy?
Plain and Fancy. I
No.
mentioned.
Well, is
No,
it in a
she's not
show?
in
Is it in the theater?
Yes, she said it was a musical.
It's a musical comedy.
No, actually, one thing I want to say, when you say this year, we're talking about this season, not the calendar year, right?
This season.
This
We
season.
mean
Oh.
would have come
Since
out by
September?
September.
That's right.
It's
Mhm,
something
fine.
that's open since September.
That's fine. Yeah, you're getting yourself into a bad trap here. You've partially defined the occupation now, and
Well,
you don't need to
mean
go
if
so hard for the show.
She is something aside from a singer, or in addition to being a singer, you are something else.
Yes.
You have lines.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You are.
Oh, definitely,
One for Sam Levinson.
No.
Well, he has glasses on. Why shouldn't he? Glasses for everybody.
May I ask, am I out of turn?
Yes,
Yes.
you're out of
Oh, I'm out
town.
of
But you say that you do not do any solo work in this musical comedy.
That's right. That has been
No, I
enlisted.
don't.
You do appear in ensemble work.
Yes.
So you're a singer with lines in a musical. Are you also an understudy?
No.
No, that makes it 4 down and 6 to go. Panel, I'm going to throw the flipper because I
Oh,
think...
they're being so nice to me.
Yeah, well, we'll throw it.
Well,
we'll
is
roll
it
over.
done in a
Let's
theater?
have
Is it a show that's in a theater?
Yeah,
It is in a theater.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
in Peter
Actually,
Pan.
you know, Pat is slowly working her way up in one of the most difficult professions of all. She's in Fanny, and she's got a few lines to speak, and she dances and sings, works with the chorus in some numbers, and I think she can be real proud of being in there and jumping all the way in 5 years, this short distance. I mean, you go all the way to the top. It's a grand show. It's a grand show. Pat? For the panel, if I may, and for our good St. Todman organization, congratulations on moving up the ladder, and congratulations on your success in being such a fine show, because most of us have seen it
And
and we all
sing us
enjoy it.
something.
yes, request.
No, I think we put her on enough of a spot. Thanks very much, Pat. Nice to have had you on What's My Line. All right, panel, now let's see what you can do with another challenger. Will you please come in and sign in, ma'am? Ruth Whitney, is that right? Miss or Mrs. Whitney? Mrs. Whitney? Mrs. Whitney, the panel would like to get a better chance to look at you. Would you take a hike over in front of the panel for me, please?
Hello, Mrs. Whitney. You live in New York, do you? In Binghamton, New York? John, you didn't tell us that.
Well, I tried to get away with it, Fred.
I didn't know people were commuting to the show. I mean,
From Binghamton, too.
getting the out-of-town crowd.
Now let's see what they can do with their usual wild guess, which we give them. We begin the wild guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think she's a handwriting analyst.
Mr. Allen.
I think she's a hostess at a motel.
Miss Francis.
I think she's a receptionist at one of the big plants up there.
Mr. Levinson.
I think she's the new hat check girl at the Stork Club.
I'm afraid nobody has it. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Mrs. Whitney, and at the same time, we'll tell them what her line is. The panel's got to work. You know how we score, Mrs. Whitney?
Yes, I do.
All right, fine. Mrs. Whitney is self-employed, and let's begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Is there any product involved in what you do?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
There is no product. You must deal in services then.
Yes.
Are these services available for men and women?
No.
Or
No,
not?
in the particular use of the services, where there is the contact when her service is specific and applied and used, it would not be for both sexes.
I didn't understand it, John. Could you run through that again?
You weren't meant to. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Is there something in your work that helps the person that comes to you for service?
Yes.
Do the people come to you rather than you're going to them?
The people who use Mrs. Whitney's services may said to be, in a substantial sense, coming to her to establish the relationship, yes.
Are the people that you do deal with human beings?
Yes.
Is the sex that you work mostly with male?
Yes.
I hoped so. Are they in some kind of, do they need some assistance when they come to you?
Yes.
Yes, to the degree that the service is necessary or the service is beneficial, they need assistance.
Uh-huh. Is there any paperwork in what you do?
Yes.
Is it, do you have anything to do with monies in any way?
Yes.
Would it be, you do? I don't know why I asked that. Does it have anything to do, are you in the insurance business?
No.
No, that's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Levinson.
Are you in business? Is this a business operation of some kind?
Yes.
You mean broadly or specifically? It's a real yes, huh?
It's a business. It's a self-employment here is involved, and it's...
But do you always operate from the same place? People come to you at a specific place?
No.
No.
No, there's some movement involved here. And remember that the service here is the basic relationship between Mrs. Whitney and the person who buys and uses her service or with whom there is a commercial relationship. 4
No.
down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Have we established whether there's a product? Yes, I did with a fast no. Do you touch these men?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Allen.
I'm glad to know that because it takes
Well,
away...
I'll tell you what I was thinking of.
What?
I was thinking of something like a driving school.
Oh,
And
driving.
No conference has been allocated, please, Mr.
That's a
Allen.
double no you have. That's the first double no in the history on our first anniversary, too. Do you wear a uniform when you perform this service?
No.
You
6
don't.
down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you
Must be
travel
sloppy.
about in your job?
Yes.
Is there anything to do with vehicular travel?
You mean
I don't
getting-
know what that is, but does it have anything to do with
It certainly has it. Now, actually, I'm going to ring down the towel because
Well,
on
you
this
get
one,
terrible
let's
time.
say rather I'll throw in the towel for you because you see, Mrs. Whitney manages prize fighters, and you weren't even close.
Oh.
Mrs. Ripley, you get the full prize. Thanks for being our guest tonight. Well, in just a moment, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest.
Fred Rogan and Heidi Bohe from GSM Live, where we live to give.
Tune in every weekday for your chance to win exotic trips, great appliances, jewelry, and so much more.
Get in the game. You could be driving off in a brand new electric gem car.
Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we get right down to the general questioning, which we will begin with, Arlene Francis.
Well, now, are you part of the entertainment world?
Yes.
A performer?
Oh, yes.
Would you be considered a leading lady? What?
I don't know. I wait for the people to say.
Actually, I would think in the broad category of leading players, we would have to say a big, resounding yes.
Oh, all right.
He's
Well.
nice.
Have you been in pictures?
A few.
Oh, you mean that you are better known for your work other than in pictures?
I would say yes, I think so.
Would it be the theater?
Yes.
Are you two in musicals?
Are you two in musicals?
Well, I mean, we just had a lady from Fanny. Do you perform in musicals?
Yes.
Are you performing in a musical now?
Yes.
Are you having a little trouble disguising your voice?
Yes.
Bet you do. Is there something? Are you a singer?
Yes.
Not very strong.
Getting weaker
She's
all
getting
the time.
weaker.
Is there something distinctive about you apart from your singing? By that I mean, are you well known for your hands?
For your hands?
Yes.
How do you mean the question?
The use of her hands. Does everybody always talk about this lady's hands?
I'll say yes.
Do you also sing part of Harold Arlen's score?
Mm-hmm.
And do you live every night in the most beautiful of all musicals to look at, House of Flowers?
Oh, yes.
Beautiful commercial.
Are you Pearl Bailey?
Pearl Bailey. I must say,
I knew.
You can't
There was no hope.
disguise that voice. I'm
No,
sorry.
it
But
was-
I'm glad.
are you ever got it up there? I don't know. Miss Bailey was holding on to her throat. It was just killing her to get it up that high.
No, I gave up at home. I knew it was useless. I knew it.
Oh, they're real bear cats, Miss Bailey.
Yes, I watch them every Sunday. They're dangerous.
I've been working with them for 5 years and haven't been able to get away with a thing in all that time.
No, not even the worm.
Not even the worm. They pinned my ears back with the worm. Really
I
gave
haven't
it to
even
me.
guessed one for 5 years.
I beg your pardon,
I
Prince?
say I haven't even guessed one for 5 years.
Did Pearl make with the hands? I was blindfolded because I recognized the voice, but did she do one of them there? Things like
Oh, she has the most beautiful hands. Show us
Make
your
with the
hands and
hands,
see if
Pearl.
we can guess what your line is.
Well, Miss Pearl, I must say I'm sorry that we didn't give him a rougher time, but I do hope you enjoyed your visit.
I certainly did. I brought along a hammer. I had suggested using a hammer. I was going to knock once for no and 2 for yes.
Where were
They
you?
thought I could get away with the high voice, but I think a hammer would have been stronger.
Thanks very much, Miss Pearl. Will you say hello to the panel? Nice to have you with us today. Now let's see what we can do with a final challenger. Will you sign in, please, ma'am? Eunice Blackie, is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs.?
is Miss.
Miss Blackie, and where are you from, Miss Blackie?
New York City.
New York City? Well, we haven't too much time, so you take a look at the panel. No, don't go over there. You come with me. Come on. They had it. You sit down here, if you will, please. And we'll give the panel their wild guess as to what your line may be. We'll begin the wild guesses with Dorothy Kilgallen.
I think she sells airline tickets to
Sells
romantic
airline
places.
tickets. Beg your pardon?
To romantic places.
To romantic places. Mr. Allen.
I think she's a cookie inspector with the National Biscuit Company.
Miss Fred.
I think she's the feminine counterpart of Boston Blackie.
Mr. Levinson.
Is she a New Yorker? Are you in New York?
Yes, New York. Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that she works as a traffic cop in the Tunnel of Love in Coney Island.
No, I'm afraid not. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Miss Blackie. At the same time, we will tell them what her line is. All right. Let me get this removed, and then we will just tell the panel that you are salaried. You know how we score this, and we'll begin the general questioning with Mr. Levinson.
Is this a service you deal in, ma'am?
I do.
Uh-huh. Does this service involve men and women?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Do they come to you for this service?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Do you do anything to make them happier?
Yes.
And I might just qualify and say they come to Miss Blackie sometimes, but this
Only
is not
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have to do to get her to come to them? You deal with men and women, and you make them happier. Do you also make them healthier in any way?
Yes.
Do you have any special training for what you do?
Now, I want to warn you again, the healthier would be a rather natural result of their feeling happier. Because
I
it's not
feel
to be a
healthier just
medical
looking
fact.
at Miss Blackie. Do you wear any kind of uniform for doing what you have to do?
Yes.
Well, do you practice this service in a special place?
No.
Not one place, no. Right? That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen. We have about a minute and a half.
Do you go from place to place?
Yes.
Do you usually take care of more than one person at a time?
Yes.
Would you have anything that might be called an audience
Yes.
around when you... Are you a performer of some kind?
No.
Oh, my.
No, we don't. We wouldn't call it a performer, I don't think, Dorothy. You might want to quibble with me later. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Allen.
Do you appear before groups of people, audiences?
Yes.
Is there a product involved in
No.
there is no product.
All right, 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you lecture?
No.
Yes and no. Actually, we've run out of time. I think you were beginning to get close.
Does she preach?
That, I think, would be closer, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Because I want you, going to kick it all the way over anyway, because I want you to meet Captain Eunice Blackie of the Salvation Army. We are particularly pleased to have her with us because I think all of you know, I know my friends in the panel do, that this is the 75th anniversary of the Salvation Army. There are a great many adjectives to describe the wonderful work they've done for 75 years, but I think the most important thing to say is that we have a very simple procedure to show our support of the Army. They're having their 75th anniversary. They need our help to go on with their work, so make your contribution to it. And thank you very much, Captain, for being our guest.
Thank you very
nice
much.
to have had you on our team. And now, we'll be back in just a moment. Thank you, Sam Levinson, for so ably representing Bennett Cerf. Next week, we'll have Louis Jourdain with us, and we hope Bennett's having a wonderful vacation. Until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Dorothy.
Good night, Fred.
Good night, Dorothy. Good night, Arlene.
Good night, Fred, and good night, Bennett, wherever you are, and good night, Sam.
Good night, Arlie. Good night, John.
And good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Get your game and you know you're at GSN. Here's the new game that's filled with loads of fun. Get your game, get your game, get your game. It's in the cards to play Catch 21. Play online and on TV. Catch 21 is the game.